Welcome back, you guys, to Queen's Roots. My name is Queen Mother. I'm so excited to have you here. If you are new to the channel, thank you for joining us. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. On this channel, we I teach you all about the metaphysical, the occult. I introduce you to spirituality as well, the different forms of spirituality, and we have some deep and personal conversations on my journey here, as well as I answer questions on what you experienced during your spiritual journey. So if that all is something that is like the world that you're just interested in being in, go ahead, hit subscribe, because whatever it is, we will talk about it here on this platform. If you are interested in learning more about me, Queen Mother, and the services that I offer, head to queensroots.com and check out all of the services and learn more about me and how I started my spiritual journey and what I have to offer for you. Okay, let's get started. All right, you guys, so I'm in the space in my life right now where I am submerging myself in a new world, and it's expanding, but within the last year I've made so many changes to my looks, to my home, to the relationships that I have. I've made so many changes to my career. I started a YouTube channel. I am teaching people. I am coaching people. I have started a complete new career. So if you guys don't know, I am a designer. I work in the design field. What have I done? I've been like super active a parent with my children and their school, and volunteering and working on their school activities, and with their engaging with their schools and sports. So much is new, so much is happening in a course of a year, and I'm not going to change any of it, because this is everything that I've been asking for years, and I'm finally here and I'm enjoying all of it. But I'm having one little problem: imposter syndrome, right? And I wanted to come and talk to you guys about imposter syndrome, as well as the effects that it plays in the spiritual role. Okay, before, I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was just telling her I was feeling so overwhelmed because I felt so disconnected from my new identity, the identity that I've been working hard to restructure, that I don't even recognize myself anymore, which is perfectly fine, but I'm struggling with connecting with who I am. And I felt very vulnerable and very open because so much was new, and I'm in such a new environment that I don't know if I just felt open and raw and vulnerable because of that, or because of just the level of responsibilities that I have put on myself and to in each of the roles that I play, right? And so I began to tell my mom, I felt like, I already know that I've been having these conversations but with myself since about March or April, about being, having imposter syndrome. And I've been getting through imposter syndrome. And she says, "What is that?" So I had to explain to my mom what imposter syndrome was, and we didn't get to finish the conversation because I had to go. But I wanted to come and talk to you guys about imposter syndrome, because I know just how much it affects you, or I'm experiencing this affected me on the physical, as well as spiritually. Okay, we're gonna dive right into it, right? So I'm gonna go back to my roles again. So as a coach, a life coach, a spiritual life coach, as a single black mom, as a new person who just relocated to a new city and state, away from her family, as someone who is an active member on my daughter's school's PTO board, as well as volunteering at the school, coaching both girls volleyball and soccer, as a person who is building a platform here and teaching within the spiritual community. Like I said, there's so many new roles that I'm getting in, and as a designer, there's so many roles that I'm here within that are new. They're very, very much new for me. And it's not that I don't have these skills or the capacity or the ability to fulfill my roles. It's sometimes feeling like, am I doing it right? You know, am I going to meet the expectations that other people are expecting for someone who's in this role, in this authoritative figure? Is having that confidence to know, like, yes, I am that person, I am that woman that's walking into this room, and I mean, honestly, let's just be real, I already walk into the room and pull that level of authority when I walk into the room, but it's being able to consistently act in that level of authority continuously with the new groups of people that I'm in. And so sometimes I feel like I'm not who I say I am. I'm not doing what I say I'm doing. I'm not all of this, right? But it's not true, because at the end of the day, I do have the experience. I do, as I was telling my mom, like, I do have the experience. I do have the knowledge. I do, everything I've done has brought results. I'm just so in my own mind about it, because I think I see how I'm supposed to be in these positions, and I don't feel like I'm living up to that yet, right? And so how does that translate into the spiritual realm? So in the spiritual world, you have when it comes to spirituality, when you're making so many changes in your life and you're coming into these new spaces, these new communities, and when you're coming into these new groups, sometimes you feel like, okay, how do I come in? I don't want to look like a newbie. I don't want to look like a new witch. I don't want to sound like a new spiritualist. I don't want to come in and know that people can easily identify that I'm a new initiate. You know, how do I come in and still demonstrate that I have the skill and the knowledge to be in these spaces, that I deserve to be in these spaces, and come in and confidently own where I am in these spaces, right, in these new worlds? And so you begin to feel like you have to know how to read tarot cards, you have to know how to contact the spirits, you have to know how to do spell work, you have to know to be a spiritualist. You feel like you have to know how to do all of these things, and you really don't need to know any of it. You know, you just, the fact that you have started this journey is more than enough, right? It's more than enough for you to be in this space, to come in and say, I'm here, I'm willing to learn, I'm here to help, I'm willing to show up and do my part, and that's enough, right? And because as you're in these roles and you're growing in these roles and you're learning more about who you are and where you fit at and where you want to be in the roles, you begin to understand your strengths and weaknesses. So I'll give you an example. As a designer, there's two sections. Actually, it's really one section of the field that I'm in as a designer, but the companies and corporations like to split them into two parts. So we have where one likes to focus on the UI, which is what we call the user interface, and then the other one likes to focus on the UX, which we call the user experience, right? So as a designer, you can be a generalist. You can come in and you can work within both perspectives, and you can do both the research part of it and the design aspect of it, and you can come together and do both of them. Or a lot of companies like to split them in half, and some only like to focus on the UI part of it, which is, for all my tech people, you will understand what I'm saying. If you're not tech, just follow along, right? If you want to focus on the UI part of it, and the UI part gets you just like the designs, the visuals, right? Whereas the research is like the understanding of how we got to those designs and why we chose what we chose and where and how we got there. And so in being in my field, I understand that I'm the strongest at the research part of it, the thought process, the understanding of how do we get here, coming up with the concepts, creating the ideas and everything, more so than I am with the actual putting it together. Where I'm strong in UI, but I'm not as strong as I am in UX as I am in UI, right? So what does all of that mean, right? There's parts of your journey that are going to make sense. There's part of your journey that's you're going to be stronger in one area than you are in another. You may be strong in your spiritual journey and, you know, opening yourself up. And if you choose, okay, so if we focus on the occult part of it, you may be stronger in manifesting but not necessarily spell work, if that makes sense. You may be stronger in spell work but not necessarily working with spirits. You may be more stronger in acknowledging the deities and gods and how to work with them than you are in just learning how to just conjure on your own or create something on your own, right? So there's different levels to starting in a new field. There's a different understanding to who you are in these fields, right? And so as I'm suffering, I won't say I'm suffering, as I'm battling this false sense of imposter syndrome, because that's exactly what it is, it's false, I have to understand, like, Queen, there are aspects of this that you're going to be stronger in, and there's other aspects in that you're not going to be as strong in, and that is perfectly okay. What I'm understanding about the imposter syndrome and overcoming those syndromes, and this is going to apply to like work, relationships, this is going to apply to like new circles, if you're in new social circles. This will apply to if you are in your spiritual journey. This is going to apply like overall to life, right? What I'm understanding is no one's really checking for credentials, and the people who are checking for credentials, they're not checking for credentials to make sure you are who you say you are. I mean, essentially that's what credentials are, but they want to know, are you going to show up and do the work? Are you going to get them what they want, right? Are you going to be able to do what you said you're going to do? And I think that's the most important thing. So although, and like I said, some people like, some of y'all do need credentials right now, but are you going to show up and give 100% of who you are in that moment? And you may not know what 100% looks like for you or who you are at and giving 100%, but are you going to show up and give it? I promise you, people care more about the results than the certifications. They care more about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and if you're going to do it, more than did you get a degree, how much did you pay for this degree, where did you get this degree from. When people are asking for certifications in a sense like that, or life certifications, they want to make sure that you have a proper documentation that's going to say you are going to show up and do what you're supposed to do, or you do have this level of acknowledgement. And it doesn't always work that way in the spirit world. You can look for leaders out here who have been in the communities or in the leadership role for years, and they have the backing to say, yes, I've been, you know, a voodoo priest, or yes, I am a hoodoo, I've been practicing hoodoo for this amount of years, yes, I am a witch and I've been doing this for this amount of years, and I can show you, but it doesn't necessarily describe who they are and if they actually have the ability to do what it is that you're asking or needing for them to do. That goes the same thing for tarot readers. Yes, you can go to someone and can say, yes, I've been reading for 20+ years, but if that person doesn't resonate with you and their messages are not on brand with what you are or in alignment with your life, then it doesn't work. You know, that's not the right person. Okay, it doesn't mean that, you know, your experience is supposed to negate your knowledge, but it opens the door. Okay, this entire thing of imposter syndrome in spirituality comes because there's so many lines of inferiority in place. There's so much that people want us to, they want to keep secret and hidden and protected. And when you're accessing these places and you're being told no, or you're feeling more vulnerable and insecure because you're entering to new places and you feel like all eyes are on you, it's okay to come in and give yourself that space to grow, to learn, and just to figure out where you fall at in line to all of it. Where do you fall at when it comes to your spiritual journey? You don't need to put on a bunch of bracelets or crystals and smudge your home up to feel like you're a spiritualist. If you feel, and if you're not doing it, if you feel like this doesn't resonate with me, or I'm not to this level yet, then that is okay. You don't need to do all of those things in order to be a spiritual life. Now, I get more into what spirituality is and what the journey is actually about on my podcast, The Root of Spirituality. It's on all streaming networks, all streaming platforms. So if you're interested in learning more about that, head over to The Root of Spirituality. Season 1 is up and season 2 will be dropping on October 24th. So I'm so excited about that, right? But yes. I think the biggest way to overcome imposter syndrome is to acknowledge that you're having imposter syndrome. I don't think you can do it any other way. Just acknowledge I'm having having a moment where I feel like I'm not who I say I am, or I feel inadequate to fulfill this role. But once you get there and you get your hands dirty and you see, oh yeah, I am doing this, I do know how to do this, I do know how to, you know, create this, and I may not create it or do it the way that you wanted me to, or the way that someone else did before me, but I want you to learn and accept me for creating and being and working in a space that is uniquely mine, because that's why you asked me to be here. It's because you saw a uniqueness that I brought to the table as a coach, as a mom, as a father, as a partner, as a employee. You saw the uniqueness that I would bring to the table. You saw that I had a gift that was going to aid you in creating whatever it is that you wanted to create in the long run. So if you're like me and you're having a moment of imposter syndrome, I want you to take the second and kind of like take a few deep breaths, meditate. I've been doing a lot of meditation lately, so meditate and just reconnect with where you are in this space right now. Reconnect with your goals, reconnect with where it is that you want to go. And if this is in fact the environment that you want to, if this is in fact the environment you want to be within, if this is in fact the people that you want to be around, start finding ways to submerge yourself even more and getting to know and your new community, because you'll find, even though you feel like an imposter, many people will look at you with such a high level of authority that you'll blow yourself away. Like, I didn't realize people looked at me this way, or they expected or they acknowledged my level of work in this way, that my whole thought process of me being an imposter was a complete lie, because I am showing up as that boss. I am showing up as that queen. I am showing up as that individual that has the knowledge, the skills, the determination, the fire, the everything to put into this project, to put into this relationship, to put into this environment, to put into myself. You know, like I said, I'm in a state where I'm completely reinventing myself, and that's because I'm pushing myself to be in the areas that for so long I wanted to be in, and I'm finally in them. And so now I have to be like, okay, queen, we're finally here. Let's learn, let's grow, let's see what's around us, let's connect with everything and the people that are coming into our lives. Let's fulfill these roles that we've wanted to. Now, going forward, do I want to probably do some of these things again? Probably not, but I'm going to show up every single time and give 100% the best of me in everything that I do, right? So that is all that I have for you this week. You guys got a really good glimpse into a personal aspect of who I am and some of the things that I'm battling with in my daily roles of, now you see when I say when I'm busy, y'all don't really be like I'm busy, right? But you get to see a different part of what imposter syndrome looks like for people that are in these roles, these authoritative roles, people that are new into these positions. It's not that you don't have the capacity to do it, it's just that it's all new, right? That is all that I have for you, my loves. You have a good day, okay?